super chunk inspired question we're asking today is it making you feel something? We are Cinema Girl.
Cinema Squirrel.
And we went to the Mystery Monday movie last night.
At the Terrace Theater.
In Charleston, South Carolina.
Shout out to the Terrace.
Whoop. And didn't fall on my face.
Nope.
It's some of their little platforms this time. And
we were in Theater 1 with no steps to trip over.
And yeah, so this is an exciting experience. You should try it sometime. Going to the Mystery Monday movie. It's I don't know if everywhere it's $5. Where we went, it was $5. And you get to see something before everybody gets to, and you don't know what you're getting. It's the mystery flavored Dum Dum. And this time, we saw a few trailers, and then we saw the A24 logo, and I was immediately like,
I palpably felt that from you when A24 was like, oh no, is this going to be horrible horror?
I was both yay, and I hope I can handle this, because I'm not really a horror person, but I'm like, I'm gonna hang in here for whatever this is, because buckle up, I'm on the ride. But it was Eternity. The new film Eternity, starring Miles Teller, Elizabeth Olsen, Callum Turner, and Divine Joy Randolph, and John Early, also, can't forget, in a story about the afterlife. Can I just do like a quick summary?
Or can I just, before you do...
Oh, sure.
Can I just say, like me, were you thinking the last mystery movie we saw, Eleanor the Great, right?
Yes.
Starts with two old people
bickering having their daily just bickery conversations.
One of them passes away. Very similar to this movie, and I'm like, what are we in for? I like their bickering, and then I was like scared that we were about to see another film of old people. So anyway, you go ahead with the description.
I admit, yes, it opens with two old people in the car, and I was like, oh boy. Is this what this theater caters to? And they're like, can we get all the mystery old people movies, please, for our mysterious older audience? And then, yeah, they're going to like a gender reveal party for one of their family members. And they're, kind of just, having like their kind of just very natural, crabby conversation. And you see that the woman, as they're walking in, she has her sleeve pushes up and reveals, kind of like a port maybe for chemotherapy or something. And I was immediately like, oh, I was kind of like, I don't know who these people are. This looks like it's going to be a cancer story. Right. And I just feel like, what are we in for? Whatever it is, it's not super subtle yet, or brace yourself for pain.
And she says to Larry, like, can I just have today? Because he says something like, shall we tell them? And she's like, can I just have today? Right. So they're obviously keeping secrets from the family. Right. Heartbreaking.
So we're like, what's going to happen? Well, what happens is that instead of Joan passing away first, moments later, Larry chokes on a pretzel, is immediately waking up in the afterlife. Suddenly the movie takes on sort of a Good Place / Twilight Zone tone. Larry is now restored to a younger version of himself, played by Miles Teller, with the information supplied that in the afterlife you resemble the age where you were most happy in your life. And basically, it's like a train station kind of vibe, and you meet up with your AC, your afterlife counselor, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Or consultant or something, and they kind of give you the lay of the land, which is you have a week to decide which of the many different options of afterlives you would like to choose, where you will just spend eternity. And it really is kind of like going to a city and seeing all the different tours and shows that are available. It's like pamphlets and posters galore.
People trying to sell you on their eternity.
Yeah, it really feels like travel posters everywhere.
And the start of the movie was very like normal color correction.
Yeah.
Like real world. And then when Larry wakes up in like on the train, heading to, the sort of
Yes.
junction. I felt like we got a bit more film grain and saturated colors. Like it felt like Walt Disney Presents, like that 60s World's Fair.
Oh.
Welcome to the city of tomorrow.
Sure.
I'm Walt Disney, and let's look around,
Sure.
folks.
Yes.
And I love that aesthetic.
Yes.
And it's very confusing for Larry, who keeps walking through going, where am I? What's going on? And everyone's saying, your AC will be with you shortly.
And the continuity, he's got like little pieces of pink paper in his hair from the gender reveal. So this is Larry. But yeah, so I feel like so he finds himself in a position where he's supposed to be choosing where he's going to go, but he is a married man. He does have a wife who is dying, and he's got to make a decision. And
you only have 1 week to make your decision for eternity. And if not, you have to decide to stay and work at the Junction Center.
Right, and have like a crappier room and everything like that.
Which was a great scene of like, what's that smell?
What's in the... Oh, and there's some hummus in the fridge. So I feel like... So this is still very early on in the movie. Joan is suddenly seen arriving. He's already kind of chosen. He's chosen to go to the beach land. She arrives... And it turns out the bartender is her first husband, who's been waiting for 67 years or whatever in this like holding spot. He's been working as a bartender, marking the days, waiting for Joan to come back. So now Joan's left to decide, well, who does she want to spend eternity with? And it really asks the question, explores the question like, what do we want from a relationship? What is the quality of love between these two different relationships? What are we attached to? What choice do we make? The choice of possibility or the choice of familiarity? And just gets into some really kind of deep questions while also having a lot of fun with these rules of the afterlife.
Right, because even when you start thinking like, well, they're both kind of equally romantic. Larry has lived his whole life with her, and they know each other very well and get along. And yet, bartender has waited because he was the first husband, went off to war. I love that. Just calls it the war, and everyone assumes it's World War II. And he's like, Korean War, we're not that old. But then they're like, oh, Korean War still counts, still a war.
Right, that was kind of like a little running joke.
A little running joke there. But they're both equally sort of romantic. And anytime you feel like, well, this is putting Elizabeth Olsen in such a horrible position, they go and have some more fun with like, turning on the TV is advertisements for the other eternity. Like they kind of don't let you get too dour and like, don't think about this too hard. It's just this crazy fun premise. And if you start to get depressed about it, it's like, no, we've very cleverly interjected like some comedy or some deep discussion. Oh, and her friend passes away also.
Right.
So that Elizabeth Olsen can go talk to her friend of many years.
So she kind of finds community in this.
Who was happiest in her 70s.
Right.
Which is a shock to everyone else in their 20s. Like, well, you're
Wait,
old.
what? But it's like, oh, she had a special week that time in her 70s. And I mean, this definitely is a comedy. Just like it's a thinker, but it's a comedy.
Yes.
Anna, played by divine Joy Randolph, I was like, oh, okay, she's from Only Murders in the Building. She's also in The Lost City.
Oh, man, thank you.
So, yeah, like, I looked her up because I was like, yeah, okay, we know you. John Early has a lot of fun,
Right.
being another one of the ACs. And they're kind of almost like rooting for their guys, to end up being with Joan. And of course, Joan could just choose herself also. That's an option.
There did come a point, and again, because it's A24, and again, you're watching the film, having a lot of fun and some laughs, but then they touch on, we've got a runner, and someone has left their eternity, and you're not allowed to do that. If you go through the archive tunnel, which I love that. Like, you can walk through your own life's archives and see little snippets of your life. And but if you backtrack through that and exit back into the station,
Right.
you're in trouble. And I thought, A24, what's going on? There seems to be nefarious, like, these guards chase people down and tackle them. And I thought, oh no, are we going to have, like, maybe all three will team up and the junction and before they go to their eternity and discover something. And it turned out to be just kind of comedy. Like, they tackle someone who is yelling, Museum World Eternity is terrible.
Right, I'm tired of staring at that painting or anything. Yeah, I think, especially when they went down the tunnel to see, like, little moments of their lives replayed for them. I was like, this feels to me like there was like say there was a class project kit and it was handed out and somebody else made Big Bold Beautiful Journey and someone made this. Like, it was like there's elements of this that feel like when two people are walking down this little memory lane together and they're seeing it acted out next to them, moments of their lives, almost in a like a school play kind of way. I was like, I feel like there's some shared DNA to Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, but this movie knows what it wants to do.
Right. Yes.
I
was a little uncertain on the rules of those tunnels because I do love the bored tunnel operator who's like, we are not responsible for any trauma. And it's like, well, if you go in on your own, do you just see your own life?
Yeah, he said you could either see individual memories or group memories.
I must have missed that. But
and there's a whole menu behind it where it's like sexy memories and all that stuff.
Okay. So yeah, because when you go in with two people,
right,
and bartender started seeing some of her memories, and it's like, oh, these aren't yours.
Right.
So she was kind of going, no, you don't need to see this. And it's kind of true. It's like, you don't need to see this, but you're gonna, and it's gonna upset you.
Right. So I think one of the things that the movie gets into that I think is really interesting is, like, we have one love who spent 67 years in sort of this otherworldly bar, cut off from what life experience was like on planet Earth. And we have another love who's been her husband up until a week ago. And I think the actors all did an amazing job. I think, so Luke, the bartender soldier, previous husband, is like, wait, were the skies, the clouds move? Was the water always this cold? She's watching him rediscover what, like, it feels like to be a human being on Earth, like in nature. Oh,
right, because the junction just has to fake it. Like, outside the window are curtains with stuff painted on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, both Joan and Larry have lived to be in their, 70s or something like that. However old they're supposed to be. And so I feel like they made very subtle decisions throughout the movie as Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller. They made, like, physical decisions, not just like there's like a hilarious moment where they're like, hey, if you want to be cheered up, just do some squats, because you can do that now because our bodies are younger. But also,
oh yeah, she says, I miss these hips.
But I just felt like they continued to move like old people throughout the movie in very subtle ways. I thought it was really well done. And I also thought that, like, we got to know them to an extent, but also they were a little bit held apart from us. They were still a little bit of an illustration or something, a little bit of a caricature of people. And I was thinking, much the way that, like, your own grandparents, like, you don't really know, like, what really makes them tick. They kind of become like this, like, cozy character, whether they're grumpy or kind, whether they're great or not, they still become like a little bit of a caricature of a person. La 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 la. Check.
What a doozy of a recording session.
Okay, so my phone rang 2 different times while we've been doing this, and it kind of threw us off. And now I'm
Also, we had some great stuff, funny stuff, and
feel like,
it's all gone.
oh man,
So it's all moved on into
it,
eternity.
yeah, yes, it has. So let's just try to see if we can finish this and to our 42 followers who we love so much.
Yeah.
Don't,
Oh yeah, we talked about you. And
we talked about you. We talked about every time we do this, we get a couple more, and we appreciate that so much.
And it makes us want to do it more.
Okay, so I think one of the things when we got cut off, I was starting to say is that I thought that Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller, for one thing, their parts keep them a little bit held apart from us.
Right.
But maybe much in the way that, like, when we see people in their 70s and 80s, we're not really thinking about their 20 and 30-ish personalities and motivations behind the things that they do.
Right,
we
right.
kind of think of them as like, oh, look at those, like, look at the little old people over there. Aren't they cute? Or whatever. Aren't they mean? Whatever. But we don't necessarily get into every single bits of their hopes and dreams. I think that probably Elizabeth Olsen's character is the heart of the movie. I mean,
Yes.
it really is through her. It really is her big decision that's being made. But I thought that those two actors did such a great job at very subtly, not in an overly campy way, just very subtly looking like people who are older that just happen to be in younger bodies right now. I felt like a lot of the choices they made, just the way they interacted with each other, they really did seem like a sweet old couple.
Yes, and they did such a good job. I didn't notice that until you just mentioned it. I was like, oh, you're right. They were doing old folky type stuff in younger bodies. That was great.
Right. Just were like, oh, like when they thought they were seeing Dean Martin for a second.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was great. That was great. And I thought at the start of that scene, when they're like, hey, guess who's coming? You're never going to guess what this surprise is. I thought when they first glance up the stairs, I was like, have they done some digital crazy, like, is that Dean Martin from another film?
Right.
And then you realize, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's
Right.
not Dean Martin at all, which was great.
Okay, one fun element, and maybe we didn't talk about this on the other version. Maybe we did. I'm losing track. Your age in this afterlife, your appearance, you appear to be the age at which you were the happiest in
Right.
your life. And that was such a smart thing to put into this, because the problem solver, the sort of like detective in your mind as you're watching, you're like, wait a second. Okay, this person is this age, this person is this age. What was, why is Miles Teller looking like this age, and why is Joan looking this age, and what does that say about their true happiness?
Right.
And that gives them a lot to explore, and we find out so much more about them in the memory tunnels. Again, I don't know what part of this got deleted, but I was talking about Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey at one point. How
Right, they kind of share the same DNA.
Right, there are some things in common, especially when they're going through this memory lane tunnel and looking around together, that they're sort of going on a little Big, Bold, Beautiful, stylized journey too. But this movie kind of knows what it wants to do.
Yes.
Another thing we were talking about is that there's so many things to explore in the rules, so many things about history and what different people would have had in different times of history, what eternities maybe were made available to them, which ones have now been canceled because they don't hold up
Right.
anymore.
And you brought up like kind of a lack of diversity in this film, but they do touch on a lot of the discontinued eternities were the racist ones.
Right.
And it's like, oh, what does that mean? But they kind of just smudge over that for the joke, and you're like, okay.
Right. I felt like there wasn't, like, it didn't feel very international. It didn't feel like super cultural. But
then
again,
you feel like, yeah, maybe there are other train stations
right.
for other
This is maybe
nations.
the one where, like, you're offered France where everyone speaks English with a French accent. Right. You know, maybe this is just very specific to this group of people out here. We were talking about, I mean, again, I don't know where we got cut off now. We were talking about...
I was certainly talking about, I mistook, for all of Larry's selfishness, I thought his choice of eternity was unselfish. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you pointed out, no, at the start when they were their correct ages and bickering, he mentioned the temperature and the beaches and stuff. So he was kind of selfish. I thought he wasn't being when he chose beach eternity. That made me think like he chose that for her. Turns out, no, he's just being selfish. But also, what was bartender's name? Luke? Luke chose mountaineering eternity for him. So it kind of gave Joan, Elizabeth Olsen's character, kind of a hard choice because she's not getting to pick an eternity. She's picking a person, really. Right. In their eternities. And so I appreciated when she made her hard decision that she was going off with her friend to Paris land eternity. Right. But, you know, and getting at, like, sure, her husband of this many years, Larry, you know, is instantly overly comfortable. He's instantly, he was after a week ready to move on to an eternity and kind of hope for the best. Leave her a note. Right. Leave her a note. Meet me in Beachland or whatever, which is where he wanted to go to begin with. Like he's like, he's imperfect. He's not an idealized love. The idealized love was in the picture frame, this photo they've been looking at for all these years, and kind of brilliantly, I think Callum Turner plays the role like a photograph. I think he keeps a certain stillness about his portrayal. So she may be getting to kiss him, but it almost seems like she's kissing a photo through glass. And Larry is like the real deal. He's the favorite sweatshirt that maybe has like a mustard stain on it that never came out or whatever. But it's real, it's lived in, it's familiar and comforting. Right. And even if he's throwing the pillows off the bed and assuming stuff, leaving you a note, meet me in here, just making way too many assumptions, it is such a comfort to her. And we were talking about, she does say at one point, like, maybe the beauty of all this is that things end. Right. But then we're also talking about eternity. So she's at one point, she's willing for everything to end. But then again, once you get into harmony with somebody, sometimes you can realize even if they're a little annoying, if they're away for a couple days, you might realize just how much you miss them. You know, they don't even have to die and you be reunited in the afterlife. You could just be like, oh wait, come back and leave your dishes on the coffee table. Now I'm talking about me. That would be me. Hopefully people want me back though. Anna, played by divine Joy Randolph, who we may or may not have said in the cutoff portion or this portion, we've loved her in Only Murders in the Building, and she was a lot of fun in The Lost City, and as you know, one of the ACs, afterlife coordinators, consultants, I can't remember. She talks about that she chose her job in this middle point before you pick your afterlife. She chose it because what she was leaving kind of was so bad that there was some, and I was kind of heartbreaking. Yeah. And what I was saying is like, I really related, that really rang true for me, that a customer service job can bring so much good vibes with strangers every day. It can kind of, and also you're the one controlling, a lot of times you're the one controlling the feeling because you're the staff member or whatever. You have a certain amount of control, and if you are I didn't plug that in. I didn't plug in our little microphone thing. But you know what? I think today's just
This is a little comedy of errors. I'm pretty sure you're getting sound from our microphones.
This second movie is a doozy of recording.
I
Just
feel
stick with
bad.
us.
I feel bad because this movie was so good, and we are just flailing today. Our recording's been interrupted twice.
The movie we didn't like, great, went perfect. The one we rave about.
We recorded a whole thing, like completely, like got through the end of this review, and it was not being recorded. And now we are kind of a mess. We're sort of falling apart. And I feel like I'm ready to give up.
So hopefully you can hear us.
I just want to
Hopefully
say...
the iPhone 16 has a great mic.
I think it's doing all right.
Stick with us, subscribers will get better.
Go see it. I'm sure you saw Eternity. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. We're not supposed to be doing this
roller
multiple
coaster
takes. This is supposed to be a one take thing, and now we're left going like, what did we say? What didn't we say? And what have we not plugged in? But yes. So I think we just gotta go. I think we gotta go.
We're gonna stop here.
I think I just choked on the proverbial pretzel.
You get the idea.
We love
this one.
It was great. I hope you went and saw it. Oh, and one other thing is just we were saying like the whole point of this whole thing that we're doing is to have some fun going to see movies and talking about them. And so this is never a before the movie, should you go or should you not? You should always go. You should always go and buy popcorn and, either have fun making fun of the movie or crying over the beauty of the movie or whatever you do. And we're having a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us on these conversations if you are, and it means so much to us. And, we're going to keep doing it. And we'll start remembering to plug in our little microphone thing. Our Rode, not sponsored, microphone.